Well, here it is, the cover that I made for my very own homemade tarot journal. And today I'm going to take you with me as I set up all of the page spreads that I'm going to need for the month of July in my tarot practice. Let's dive right in. Well, hello there. I am Erin, and in case you're new around here, you might not already know that I like to help people in recovery from an eating disorder to heal themselves using creativity. For myself, my creativity has been channeled into my tarot journaling practice as of late, and today's video is going to be another journey into my tarot journal. I'm going to be setting up the month of July, all the spreads that I'm going to need for my tarot journaling practice, and I'm taking you along with me. So this first page that you see here is my title page, which also has a calendar for the month with the full moon, the quarter moons, and the new moon, so that I can always have a quick reminder of when it's time to be doing my different rituals that I do throughout the month. But let's speed this video up so that we can chat and you can watch me set these spreads up a little more quickly while we chat. In case you're wondering what kind of journal this is that I'm working in, it's actually an individual sheet of paper, and if you go back and watch my earlier videos about tarot journaling, you'll see that I intentionally built a journal from scratch using a disc binding system, and that is so that I have the flexibility and freedom to move pages around at any time. The pages pop right out of the binding and pop right back in really easily. It's really convenient. The pages of a journal like this will turn really freely, and it gives me even more freedom in that I can take those pages out, not only just to move them around, but also to work on them, so that I'm not working in a journal, because sometimes a journal can be frustrating depending on the binding. Trying to work close to the binding edge can get a little bit bothersome. So I really like the flexibility of being able to take the pages out and work on them. And the other bonus to using a journal like this is I was able to download and print out dot matrix grid paper. And so I can print that pattern, that grid pattern, out on plain white paper. I can print it out on colored paper if I wanted to. I can also print it out on paper of different thicknesses. Having said that, I ran out of my heavier paper stock and haven't been able to get my hands on any of the heavier paper again. I'm sure I will once things continue to ease up and open back up again. But I'm working right now on a really lightweight printer paper, and so the shadowing and ghosting is quite bad. It's quite apparent. So when I flip this page over to work on the other side, you'll see what I mean. But I'm just choosing to ignore it and let it go because that's not what really matters. What really matters is that I have a place to express myself and to record my readings and my thoughts about those readings. So that's the point. The point is not the pretty. The pretty is just a bonus, and it's a way for me to be creative every single day in my journals. And if you're wanting to know more about that binding system, just mention it in the comments below and I'll point you in the right direction. I've chosen a color palette that is not your typical, the typical colors that you think of when you think about the moon or the lunar cycle. I tend to rely on gold when I work on lunar spreads. I just am really drawn to shiny things, and this one I thought it would be fun just to experiment a little bit. I'm feeling the pink lately. I don't know why, it's just a phase I'm going through, and so I thought, why not embrace that and put that in my tarot journal. All right, moving right along, the next spread that you see here is my tarot tracker. So every day I record which cards come up in my reading, and then throughout the course of the month I can look back to see if there are any themes that are developing over the month in my readings, whether there's a certain suit that's being drawn or certain cards that keep coming back up, so that I can then do a little bit of research on those and do a little bit more reflecting in a different way on my readings across the month rather than just sticking to day. I'm carrying, of course, the color palette through all of the monthly spreads with those shades of pink and gray, that lovely taupe or beige or grayish or whatever color it actually is. So with this spread, you'll note that this is the major arcana, so I've got each card listed across the top of this chart. And then down the side and on the vertical edge, I've got the days of the month all numbered out. And then if I draw one of the major arcana cards, I can color that little box in on the day that I draw it and keep track of those cards that way. And in just a second, you'll see me move on to the other side of this spread. It is a 2-page spread, and you'll see me move on to the other side of this and do a similar sort of chart for all of the different suits. As promised, here's the second page of the card tracker. You'll see across the top I've got cups, wands, and swords. There is not enough room on one sheet for all 4 of the suits. As a matter of fact, I cut my journal pages down to 8.5 by 8 to fit in the journal cover that I made for it. And so what I also have the luxury of doing, because I print my dot grid paper out on my own home printer, I'm able to print it out at a bigger size and then fold it over. So the folded version of this sheet is actually 8.5 by 8, just like the journal pages, but with that flap that flips out or unfolds, it extends it back out to a full 8.5 by 11 sheet of paper. So it gives me that extra little bit of space to add on to this spread to make it fit on 2 pages and still give me room to be a little bit doodly and creative along the sides and the top of the page. So once I finished working on the cups, wands, and swords part of this spread, I'll flip it over and show you the flap that I also will finish off for pentacles. Alright, so just like with the other side of this 2-page spread, the major arcana, I'm writing the days of the month all down the left-hand side, and you'll see me repeat this on the right-hand side just because it's a wide layout, and it helps me keep track of which line I am on by writing in the days of the month down both sides. Across the bottom and the top, I will put in ace through, in my deck it's it's father, so ace through father for each of the suits, and then I'll do that again at the top just so that I can again keep track of where I'm writing or where I'm coloring in the squares. as promised, here you go. This is what's on the other side of that flap. So here I've got the pentacles all sketched out here, and I'll do the exact same sort of idea with the layout here for this little addition, little extra part. And finally, let's do my full moon and new moon ritual pages. I actually had a little bit of camera problems when I filmed this part of this video. So yeah, the camera died on me and I don't know what happened. So I'm gonna put everything that I've got to show you here. Oh, yep, but that ended abruptly. I hope that you enjoyed this video, and I'd love for you to stick around here with me for my next one. In the meantime, take care of yourself, my friend, and I'll see you next time. Bye.